Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game here at the UFC PI, being joined by the one and only Mr. Aljamain Sterling. Now, I follow you on Twitter. I have to ask, did you get any good food recommendations, and did you find any good food spots here in Vegas?
I did, but I ended up going to one of the 24-hour taco spots. It ended up being pretty good, so it worked out.
Was it like a national taco chain or just one in Vegas?
Roberto's Taco something.
Those are really good. The California burritos with French fries inside?
Yes, and it was right next to the hotel, so it was easy. I just drove back from Virginia, the Norfolk fights, and then we got on a flight like 3 hours later. So I was shot yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure the taco and the burritos put you in a food coma. Yeah. But I know you've been traveling a lot before Virginia. I know your good friend Al Iaquinta. He, against Mike Perry, they had a grappling match. What did you think of that?
I think the ref didn't know what the hell he was doing. And he was corrected. Al texted Chael, and Eddie Bravo texted Chael and confirmed that Al was correct, that the twister is real. That was a legitimate position. Perry couldn't get out if he wanted to. I've been in that position. I know what it feels like. You are locked down. And he gave up. He abandoned the palm-to-palm grip over his face to go for the twister, which is what we were working on in the back room, literally like right before the match. And he's done that time and time again in training too. So that would have been a nice little highlight to get. I'm not saying he would have gotten it over Perry. Perry's obviously really strong and tough, but he would have definitely gotten more time with the control. Just that lockdown of the leg alone. He went for it the first time, the first round. He got out. It wasn't tight enough. Then the second time he made the adjustments and it was tighter. And the ref just kind of blew that.
Someone's personality I don't think you like, right? Henry Cejudo?
He's awful. I mean, honestly, it's working. He's getting people to pay attention to him. And kudos to him for that. So I like to come in and be the hero and put the fire out, just step all over that shit.
Well, did you see how he selected Jose Aldo?
Yeah, I did. I actually laughed a little bit about that. That was actually all right. It was a little slow. He could have made it a little bit faster, but it was actually pretty good.
Yes, him and the schmo, right?
Yeah. So that was one of his better pieces of work, I would say.
But did that surprise you at all? Because I know, and when that fight got announced, you said hashtag make rankings great again. So did that surprise you that he ended up going with Aldo? No,
I've heard through the grapevine, and I guess the only thing that kind of annoyed me was that when it actually came to fruition, that it was actually the faces were on the poster together. I was like, now I'm a little more pissed off because I actually see it, even though I knew it was going to happen. Where's the smoke? With whenever you hear rumors, man, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. As long as you hear from a credible source, and sure enough, that's what it was. And I already kind of put in my head, like even after I had the surgery, that I was going to probably have to fight one more. Yeah. I was hoping that Cejudo and I would get back around the same time, which we would have been, but he just opted to go with lesser competition.
But do you think that's the reason why he selected Aldo? Because do you think it's more of like, the money fight, or do you think it's more like the easier fight?
What I think, so the contracts are written very specifically. We're contracted for a certain amount of fights. Yeah. So people keep saying, that's the money fight. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's not a money fight. You get paid the same exact shit that you get paid no matter if you fight him in Oklahoma, you fought him in New York, you fought him in California, Mexico, Brazil. It's all the same shit. The only thing that probably changes is for the UFC side in terms of probably sponsorship pay and things like that. So people need to understand, like, unless you're going to renegotiate per fight, which the UFC almost never does, you're getting paid the same shit, so it's not a money fight. Yeah. That's why I didn't really understand his motivation behind pressing for the Aldo fight like that, unless he was going to pick up some outside sponsorship for Cejudo to fight him in Brazil. But, I mean, I'm going to say no. I'm not sure what companies are getting behind the King of Cringe. But if they are, kudos to him. More power to him. But I don't see it. I don't buy it.
The pillow companies.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. He's... Yeah.
But do you think that Jose Aldo beat Marlon Moraes in December?
If I'm being honest, when I watched it the first time, I thought he did. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to go his way. Even when they said split, I was like, it's pretty close. I could see it going split for Aldo. And I even said it on my podcast, The Weekly Scraps, that I had it for Aldo, but after rewatching it, I could see why Marlon could have won. It's very close depending on what you score more, Aldo's advancing or Marlon's footwork, and then him striking and in the spurts at the end of the fight of the third round and taking that third round along with the first. So it really depends on how you look at it. So there's no right or wrong way. Everything's so subjective. It's tough to say. But when I first watched it, I definitely gave it to Aldo, but the judges say he got it wrong. He didn't get it, so that's all that matters. He lost. I lost to a Sun-South split decision, a Caraway split decision. Give me another judge, I probably win the fight. And but guess what? The fact that it matters on paper, it says I lost. So it is what it is, and they should have treated it as such.
And lastly, because it is UFC 248 fight week, I have to ask, what are your predictions for the main event, Israel versus Yoel?
It's so tough for me to make predictions because I know the majority of these guys. If I'm being honest, I love Izzy. I love Yoel Romero. Those guys are big personalities and huge fans of both their work. It's a dangerous fight for both guys, I think. But if I had to lean towards somebody, I'm going to go towards the younger guy who's on fire with the momentum right now, and that would have to be Adesanya. I'm not going to say how, but obviously Yoel can pull something out of his ass and flying knee. And we've seen him do that time and time again. So he's dangerous, man. Even the fight with Paulo Costa, that was so super close. Another fight that could have gone either way. He's dangerous. He hits like a fucking Mack truck. So it's not like Izzy's definitely gonna win. I just think Izzy might pull it out.
But who won the dance off?
Oh, Yoel Romero won. He's already up 1-0.
And we'll find out this weekend. But I know you spoke to the Schmo about your return, and a lot of your fans are hoping to see your return in June.
Yes, hopefully we're doing some good work over here at the UFC PI Center. I'm really hoping 2 times a day, all week, maybe even potentially stay out for another week. Will really speed everything up and get me going. I know we were trying to get me on that San Diego card May 16th, but that's just, I think it might be too soon. You know, I think a good combination of Dominic Cruz, Corey Sandbaby, and who's the other guy? Frankie Edgar. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. So I'm not saying I forgot about Frankie, but, you know, there's a lot of good guys, man. If you look at the top 15 of our division, any one of these guys could be world champions. It's so crazy. Like, you look at the Ralph Fons, the Pedro Munoz's, Cody Garbrandt's ranked 9th right now. Jimmy Rivera. You have myself. You have Peter Yan. Aldo's now in the mix. Marlon Moraes. And now you have the King of Clown, Cejudo sitting on the throne. So there's so many good guys. Song Yadong. There's a lot of tough dudes, man. Any one of these guys could interchangeably move up the rankings. So I think we're probably one of the most, if not the most exciting division right now.